Now, a lot of people did not know they put in glass floors and go up there with their fear of heights, and then are kind of freaked out, understandably. But I have to assure you guys that the Space Needle is actually one of our safest buildings. Even though it looks really top-heavy, its underground concrete base is many, many tons. Its center of gravity is only 5 feet above the ground. And that means a few different things for this building. One is that if wind held it at 100 miles per hour, it would stay pretty much still. Of course, this is the West Coast, so we don't really get hurricane force wind. That's not really a concern. What is a concern is earthquakes. The West Coast gets earthquakes all the time, and eventually we're due for what people have nicknamed the big one. But as long as you are able to get inside the Space Needle, if you are in Seattle when the big one happens, you don't have to worry. You just have to live to stand up from the earthquake and magnitude. Now, considering the Richter scale is only 1 to 10, that's not bad. I will point out really quickly too, if you're looking at the left side in the skyline, we do have someone. Oh, you're gonna say that, right? Seattle has more boat owners than any other city in the U.S. We take the maritime industry pretty seriously. A big part of our maritime industry too are the Washington State areas. Now, I'm not seeing one currently in our cruise, but I would not be surprised if we saw one in a few minutes, because our ferries are incredibly busy. We can see one of the reasons why if you look on the starboard side. The land you see crossing most of the horizon is one island called Bainbridge. Bainbridge has about 35,000 people in it, and a whole lot of them work in Seattle. The problem though is we cannot build bridges to Bainbridge. Most of the water from Seattle to Bainbridge is 600 feet deep or deeper. Since bridges have to be 2.5 times taller than the water is deep, it's just not a good cost-effective option. So we have a lot of people crossing our ferries all the time. If you do want to visit Bainbridge, it's a pretty nice day trip. Their downtown area is just walking distance from the ferry terminal. They've got things like the theater, art shops, European deli, and food. If you're a Grey's Anatomy fan, that's also where the actor played your lives. Now, while you folks are enjoying the skyline, we get some panoramic views for a little while, I'm going to be off of the microphone for a few minutes. I was walking around though to see if you have any questions, so if someone's popped up in your mind, you have that burning question, I'll do my best to answer. And my bartenders also all have a lot of knowledge about Seattle, so you can chat with them as well. Thank you folks, and I'll be picking up the next half of the tour in a little bit.
Mà những người chơi game thường kiếm tiền cũng mấy triệu đó.
Đó là quá siêu.
Thế là kiểu chắc phải top 10 thế mà. Game nào phải top.
Vậy á.
Chơi game
Can I try that one?
không cần tư chất là kiểu mình thích thôi, phải chơi và chơi chuyên nghiệp nào. Ngày 12 thì
Can nào?
bây giờ là chim sẻ.
Bà
chứ bên này mùa đông không có ai. Nhưng mùa đông thì khó đi hết rồi.
Đường tuyết là được thôi.
Chứ đi khó.
hơi khó hơn, khó cả.
Tức là xe đầu tiên là các model.
Nhưng mà người ta đi cực đông mà, tại vì đó là nơi du lịch cực đông.
Ý kiến là bên xe đầu tiên là các model cũng có trò chơi.
Thì đúng rồi. Ăn tiền. Nói chung là Mỹ đối với cách phát triển mua đều không có được.
Có thấy hồi xưa 100 năm trước Mỹ đã nhìn thấy được những cái địa chỉ để nó phát triển thành phố, hay nhìn xung quanh mấy cái bệnh nó đã nhìn thấy rồi, cái nhìn nó hay hơn người.
I like applied a long time ago. Well, I hadn't applied, but I recently I called back and asked them why I got denied.
Giờ dân tỉnh vẫn
Whatever.
rồi mà bây giờ còn vẫn còn.
Đó,
Cứ
Chứ
rồi
bây giờ phát triển đâu
Fix
rồi.
it.
bảo đảm cho nên đi lên cái lời xe điện thì đi làm.
Like make us
Mấy cái nước kia nó làm sao người ta làm hại,
try to get verification.
cho nên cái đồ là
By the way, I think I paid
sáng lên đó đi bộ đó chuẩn đó được.
FedEx. It's like $200 every month.
Có mình bao nhiêu
I
lần
was tired of paying
mấy
that.
ăn lớn làm chưa mấy ăn
You know, getting
trong số gì
a
số
good chunk of my paycheck
mấy cái
every
mặt
month out
vô nhập
for my medication.
làm buôn bán không ai đi đâu.
Nếu mà đến cả sản xuất cứ đi thì đến cái chỗ mình xuống chứ còn lái xe thì phải là ô tô nó cũng hiếm.
Well, at least you were with it. Like that thing, even if you like, I would be like, he like knows that like there
Mua ô tô thì không mắc nhưng mà trả cái này duy trì lắm. Nên là dân nó phải đi xe buýt, phải đi xe điện. Tàu điện còn ở Việt Nam đi sao nào nhiều rồi không?
Cái là cái hệ thống là cái sức khỏe
Leaned into that, right? The boat that's closest to us now, you can see, is a cargo container.
anh mới làm cái trước rồi
Yes, now it comes through, you can see
biết
black,
là
black
chúng thế giới
bar
có sức khỏe có
and
xe
a
điện
tugboat
anh đọc
called
trước thôi anh không nhìn cái nước
And
mình
we are getting
làm
closer
cái
to
gì.
the place where we'll talk about those things.
Các bác là
Once you've had your fill of skyline views, you can look back over the starboard side.
giải cái vấn đề nào rất là
Now it may seem a bit deceptive, but this is not an
Việt Nam cũng làm
island.
cái
This
này
is still Seattle over here on
từ
our
từ
right
giờ
side.
ra hết
It is West Seattle,
Thủ Đức
so it's got Elliott Bay on one side and Puget Sound on the other side. So it's a peninsula. West Seattle is actually the first place that permanent white settlers came to the area. When they came, they found that some local tribes, like the Duwamish and the Suquamish, had already encountered settlers from Europe and what was the early United States. But most of those settlers were just hunters, fur trappers, or businessmen passing through. The Arthur Denny Party in the 1850s were the first that wanted to start a
biết
town
không
here.
miếng cá bị lớn được
And
35
things
đô
have majorly changed since the year they touched
35
down.
đô
Pretty much everything you see in our downtown skyline would have been underwater before white settlement. A lot of that material was just washed down from hills that existed previously. See, they decided there was too much water and not enough land out here, so a blend of dirt, fill material, even garbage was used to create the areas that we now call downtown. Now, something else that has changed out here is the water that is directly ahead of us. Just a moment we will be turning right and looking at it. With us slowing down, I think we probably have a wildlife sighting, so I'm
công an
going
ở
to
Bình
be
Dương
around for
nó
that.
lo chỉ có 4
Just trying to
công an trong Sài Gòn
point out the bald eagle that's on the barge back behind
nếu
us
thì
on the right,
back money
just sitting on top
bây
of
giờ
the
thì
So another wildlife sighting that we have the potential to see would be California's sea lions. And I can't promise we'll see them because there aren't a ton of buoys for them to lean on right now. But if you see any flippers stick up in the water, or you see any furry heads pop up to try to snatch a fish, that's going to be what you're
cái
seeing.
dòng ở Sài Gòn bắt buộc người ta vô ta làm thôi.
And the water that is ahead of us, and then also underneath the bridge, like on the starboard side, is the Duwamish River. Duwamish River, of course, is named after the First Nation that was here. The Duwamish tribe is also where we got Chief Seattle. He was born to both the Suquamish and Duwamish.
Giống nào làm á.
If you want to learn more about them, West Seattle does also have the Duwamish Longhouse. They're open every Tuesday through Saturday from 10
Mấy
a.m.
cái
to
bóp
5
á,
p.m.
mấy cái
And while
ferry á là
I've
mình
told you
chở
about
dầu
roughly
vô nó
the
nhập
past
vô.
200 years of
Vô là mấy
history,
cái bồn xăng á.
the Duwamish have been around for about 10,000 years. So they've got
Mấy
a
bồn xăng
lot
đó
more
phân phối ra
insight
sạch
than I
hết.
do. If we had come to this particular area of the bay before 1909, what we would be looking at is pretty much the tidal flats where the Duwamish River fed into Elliott Bay. You would see little streams, a lot of mud with things like tidal creatures, reeds, and the like. But in 1909, the Army Corps of Engineers dredged out 2 waterways here. So where we see big, open, and deep water, there used to be mud. Now, I'm gonna ask real long if the captain knows how long that project took. That's one of the great things about this tour is, even though I know some stuff about Seattle, there is a lot that has happened in the past couple hundred years, so I'm always learning more. So a lot of the material that was brought up from the Delta was used to create an island. Over here on the right-hand side, where there are cranes and buildings and the like, all of that is a man-made island. That is not natural.
Mẹ.
It's called Harbor Island, and its creation allowed for the shipping industry and a lot of maritime industry to move over here.
Dạ. Nhưng bây giờ nó
One of
thua
the
thằng-
big maritime
thua
companies
thằng cái thằng gì bên
is the
Nhật.
one that we see with these boxy gray structures. This is
Hai
a
ba
big
trăm
one.
năm nay là Harbor Island là men lớn nhất.
And these boxy gray structures are really important. They're called dry docks because they are docks
Nếu không phải là vậy.
that float. Instead of tying up your boat and having part of it be in the water, these raise your boat up out of the water so it's totally dry.
Đó là men á, rồi là đắp,
Some cities use rails to get their ships up on a dry docks, but we decided we would rely on good old gravity.
tạo Mỹ là không được.
The floors of
Nó
these
làm
dry
200
docks are
năm.
empty, so it's a buoyant structure. When you flood the floors, it gets heavy and sinks a little bit. When it sinks far enough into the water, you can get your boat between the walls, secure it, and then they empty the floor again, which makes the whole thing float again with the ship
Nam biết chiếc tàu
inside.
chiến, có thấy tàu chiến không?
Dạ, đây.
Tàu đó là
The Coast Guard makes ships go to dry dock every
tàu đó là
2
mấy trăm
years.
triệu á.
Dạ.
So it's pretty convenient to have 3 out of Vickers or dry docks right here in our
Tàu
town.
đó tàu tàng hình nữa không à?
The reason you have to go to dry dock every 2 years partially is thanks to salt water. If any of you live in a snowy area, you know that it's not great for your car when they salt the roads. The same principle applies to boats. It's corrosive. And since you can't really send
Cái đầu nó
a
nhập
scuba
mất cái đầu
diver,
nó cái đầu
scuba
kìa.
diver
Nó làm
underwater
cái
with
hình
power
trụ đó
tools,
là
all you gotta
steel
do
á.
is these dry
Nó không thấy á. Radar không thấy.
The one ship that we do see docked here at Vigor today is this gray one coming up.
Nó nói là
That is, in fact, a Navy ship. You can tell they mean business because we've got this armed guard over here at the stern of the ship. This is the SS Manchester. Looking at the bottom of the ship, it's got kind of a funny structure. While most ships are just going to be one hull or one shell, this is a trimaran, meaning it has 3 hulls. So it kind of looks like there's 2 chunks taken out of it. This is an incredibly fast and incredibly stealthy boat.
still. That's fast.
It can go about 47 knots, which is 55 miles per hour on land.
Show you right now.
They also are able to confuse other radar systems. When other ships are looking at their radar, this boat will not appear to be a large military vessel. It will look as though it's a small private vessel.
Đó là hầm dưới, chống ở dưới.
It also doesn't even need a whole lot of
À, trăm mấy chục
depth
triệu chiếc này.
underneath it. We only need about 14 feet of depth underneath the SS Manchester in order to get around.
No.
For comparison, the fastest this boat goes is about 10 knots. So when we were going across the skyline the fastest we could go, that was about our top speed.
Cái đào tạo này
Our next stop on Harbor Island is Maxim Petroleum. And this is our gas station out on Island Bay. I do want you to take a look at this pier that's at Maxim Petroleum and take note of its length. If you try to picture a cruise ship next to it, it's going to come up way too short. A lot of our ocean-going vessels just do not fit at this fuel station. So instead of them going to the fuel comes to them. That's why we kept seeing flat black vessels and tugboats. Because if you're a big old ship and you need to get going with some fuel, you gotta have a bunker barge and a tugboat bring the fuel over to you. There's some examples of tractor tugboats over here in white and red and white and yellow. Now these are fuel escort boats, so they have big old water blasters. You can see, looking at them, they have the red smokestacks and then the exhaust pipes that come out of the red smokestacks. In front of those are the water cannons. Tractor tugboats are super important, not only for the bunker barges, but also for any ship. The reason they are so important for bunker barges specifically, again, the flat black vessels, those barges don't have steering or propulsion. They really just float. You can't move them around unless you tow them around. Now also this tugboat that is closest to us that has a really tall wheelhouse, that wheelhouse is so incredibly tall because if they are pushing a barge, that allows the captain to see out in front of it. You don't really want something blocking your view when you're driving. Now all of these barges also say double hull on the side. Like I just said, a hull is a shell. That's part of what allows us to prevent catastrophic oil spills. If, say, the fuel tank started to crack and leak, you have the first hole that would flood, and maybe something happens to that too. Maybe something comes loose. Having a second hole allows that outer hole to also become flooded, so you have another reason that tugboats are important is that with these very big ships, some of them can take up to 8 miles to come to a full stop. That means once they get anchored in bay waiting for their turn to unload, they've got to get a tow to get back over to the port. Now luckily we have come at a time of day where there is going to be a cargo ship ahead of us. Now it looks like there are 2 cargo ships ahead of us, very heavily loaded. We'll get up there in a second. For the folks on the left-hand side, I do want to let you know that currently you are seeing the U.S. Coast Guard base.
Đúng rồi, ở đây có cái
I'll tell you guys what you'll see on boats, in airplanes, on trains, and in the back of Mack trucks. These are part of what made the shipping industry so incredibly fast.
Còn container kia chở tàu chở container
If you've seen the Titanic, I want you to kind of scour your memory. Try to remember the opening scene when they were loading the ship. There was a ton of crew, dozens and dozens and dozens of crew, and lots of small cargo. Now the way they had to load the cargo was kind of like Tetris. You have a lot of boxes of different shapes, and you want to fit them in as tight as possible. Well, that's really inefficient. It takes a ton of time. Now instead of playing Tetris, it's more like stacking Legos. You have only 3 sizes of boxes, all roughly the same shape, and you just stack them until you're ready.
Yeah, nó là một càng lớn.
là càng lớn.
They are definitely loaded by weight. Of course, having your heavier stuff under the decks is going to allow you to balance better. But even the people who operate our massive gantry cranes are not told exactly what is inside of these containers. they're kept in the dark about the contents is,
616
well, if someone was coming and planning to
You
break
biết thằng Nga là bao nhiêu?
into a cargo box, if you had a choice between the box full of toilet paper and the box full of iPads,
Hàng dọc là 6.
it's a pretty clear
Xe hàng
choice.
dài lắm đấy.
These crane operators are incredibly talented. While a ship as small as ours would have taken 2 weeks to load up, these ships usually get in and out of port in 2 days or less. Another very important business we have down here in the south end of Seattle is going to be the one based in the brick building that is behind the gantry crane on our right. And if you are on the left-hand side, I encourage you to come over and try to take a look at it. If you do not spot it on our tour, don't worry, it's right on First Avenue. Pretty easy to remember.
Nó thấy cái
This brick building
hình
has a
Starbucks
clock
á.
tower, a blue 12 flag, and maybe you'll recognize the face that is on top of the clock tower. Yeah, a lot of you are recognizing it. That is the international headquarters of Starbucks Coffee.
Dạ. Đối diện đó là
Starbucks Coffee started as a little mom and pop shop in Pike Place Market in the 1870s. They pretty much just served good coffee, sold some coffee beans. It was just a local business.
Hey, I'm going
But
anywhere. I'm
obviously they
anywhere.
have done some growing over the years. Today they operate in 70 countries with around 25,000 shops. About 200 of those are right here in Seattle.
Wow.
60 of those are right in the downtown area. So there's definitely no shortage of caffeine around here. In fact, scientists have even found that fish in Seattle waters have an unusually high amount of caffeine in their bloodstreams. Of course, some of our most caffeinated Seattleites, I'm